Okay, I'm gonna call this multitasking at its finest because I'm going to do my hair while doing a book review. Time to go back to book it. I know I look like a psychopath right now. It's because my hair is having a really bad day. As you can see, my natural curls really want to come in, and I'm fighting it off. I'm also in the process of training my hair, so if you're a girl, you know what that means. You have to like go longer without like washing your hair, and my hair does not like it. So, but today we're going to be discussing Under the Dome by Stephen King, and I chose the biggest possible book. This book is humongous. Like, this book could hurt somebody. Mind you, like, other books are really big. I'm trying to think, like, The Iliad. The Iliad is a classic book by Homer. Okay. Mind you, the pages, like, but yeah, so this book is humongous. We're going to discuss it in length because I have time. We talk. Okay, so Under the Dome is by Stephen King. Obviously, it's a really big book, right? It's humongous. Oh my god, so big. So this was actually made into a TV show in like 2000. I want to say it was, I don't know, because me and my boyfriend watched it together. It was 2013. Wow. There were 3 seasons of it, and I think it was just canceled. No, it came to a conclusion. People said it was great. I never finished it. That's actually wild. I've never finished the show. Anyway, so let's just dive right in to the book. So basically, it starts off, there's like, it's mind you, this is from a bunch of people's point of views. They're like, I'm not joking. There is like literally 30 people point of views in this book. So like, I'm gonna try to explain it the best I can, but like, to be honest, the only way to, I'm just gonna do the basic layover. I'm not gonna go into everybody individually because I don't have 7 hours. Maybe I do. So the story starts, we're talking about like a plane, and people are like in this plane flying over this town, which is called Chester's Mill. Chester's Mill is the town where this takes place. It is, I would like to think like it's in like the Pennsylvania area. Based on like Stephen King's books, all of his towns are kind of connected. Let me even turn this on. So if I had to guess, I would say it's like the mid, like northeastern area. That's what I would say. So they're flying in Chester's Mill, and this is when we start to like learn about some characters. So like the main character is Dale Barbara, or we call him Barbie, and he's the Roman guy. He does not stay in one place too long. He is currently in town, and he's trying to get out because he doesn't want to get like stuck in a town. So we also like flash sideways. We meet Big Jim Rennie. He is like this second town councilman. He owns a used car dealership, but basically he is like big man on campus. Everyone respects him and everything that he says. They just kind of like what he says goes. And so he's not fully in charge, but like he's in charge. And then we have his son is Junior Rennie. This guy's a little off his rocker, if I'm not gonna lie to you. Junior Rennie's a little so yeah, we learn about these people, okay? Let's just start there. So that's the easiest way to go about it. So all of a sudden, this plane that is flying over Chester's Mill crashes and hits something, explodes, and basically everyone dies. Everyone that was in the plane dies. And they're like, what the hell? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? This is when they kind of learn that there has been like a wall, an invisible wall is put up around the city, which we will, you know, as we can guess, it is a dome, so it's fully over. And they're like, okay. So now Dale Barbara is stuck in the city. Big Jim is like, what the heck? Basically, they're cut off from civilization. There is no way in and out of this town now. Every exit is blocked. Literally at the town line around the entire place, you cannot get in. So they like follow, you know, they follow the dome around. They're trying to figure out what it is, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. This is when we meet Julia. She is a writer, and she is obsessed with getting like the latest news. So she is on the front line. The minute this happens, she's out there like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And everyone's just like, ugh, Julia again, because she's just one of those people where you just get annoyed with her like if I was like a townie, I would be annoyed with her. But she wants to bring the truth, no matter what it is. She doesn't want, you know, people who are like Jim Brittany's like yes men. She thinks that they're like full of BS. She wants what's really going on. So she meets with Dale Barbara, and basically they talk, and he kind of reveals to her, he's like, well, they're going to call in the military. And she's like, oh, how do you know? And he's like, oh, I was in the military. I served in Iraq. And she's like, oh, dope. We then learn that he was like sergeant or something. But then we flash sideways again to Junior Rennie, and he's obsessed with this girl named Angie. It's like his ex-girlfriend, but she's not even ex-girlfriend. Like, she was dating somebody else, and he likes her a lot, and she doesn't really give him the time of day because he's a weird guy. He gets these really bad migraines, and he like kind of blacks out. Basically, he ends up going into her house and murdering her within like the first 3 minutes of like the book. So she's dead. Like, she's just dead in her kitchen, and he's like, oh my gosh, and like he's like, I hope her parents don't come back, you know, I'm gonna go to jail. But also, like, a part of him was like, he had to do it because his headaches were like so like powerful, and he was like, if I don't kill her, like blah blah. Like I said, yeah, like literally within the first hour the dome is like down. He has terrible migraines, make him unable to act like a normal human being, and he like literally murders this girl. So then we find out that the sheriff is found dead. Big Jim Rennie finds that the sheriff is dead, and he doesn't know what to do, so he steps into this role of like just assigning people like their job codes, and he assigns a new sheriff, obviously one of his buddies. So we go through this whole first section of like the dome being down, and we learn that the U.S. government came in, and nobody really knows what's going on. They don't know what happened. This was not like a military thing. This was not sanctioned by the U.S. government. They basically like, we don't know what's going on. And all they know is that the physicality of the city is like, you're not able to get in or out, but they still have cell phone service. They still have access to the internet. Like, they still have some things. But it's like very, very weak, so the government usually cuts off people like trying to call into the outside unless it's like important, and usually if it's important, you're only calling like the U.S. government. And they also don't want like, they also are like trying to like minimize like, you know, how the government would really do it if there was like a dome down. They're trying to minimize all the information that goes in and out. So Julia is like, I want to release it, and they're like, hey, you can't do that. Like, we are not letting you do that. And she's like, oh, whatever. So we move on from there, and we see Junior, and Angie's friend comes over basically because she wants, you know, her friend, she wants to see Ange. She's like, Angie, like, you know, somebody that she loved, I can't really remember, someone that she loved like just died because the dome came down and like killed somebody. And she's like, oh my gosh, like they're dead, like I don't know what to do, I just need you, like please tell me you're home, please tell me you're home. And of course this is when Junior is hanging out with Angie's dead body. Okay, freak of nature, right? He's chilling with Angie's dead body, and he's like, yeah, I don't know what to do. So he kills Angie's friend. So now he has 2 dead bodies. This is like hour 3 of the dome being down. He has 2 dead bodies in this kitchen of this house where this girl lives, or lived, because she's dead, of like her and her best friend. And he's like, man, I hope I don't get caught. But I hope you don't get caught either, because like that is a felony. Not that his dad would probably charge him. So he shoves them both into a closet and leaves the house because he's like, I'm not going to stay here. I'm just going to leave. And if anyone asks, I'm going to say I haven't seen them. Because at this point, there's a lot of people that are like getting caught in and out of the like, the dome. Like there's some people that are like, oh, like they're here, you know, and then other people are like, I can't find them. Maybe they went, you know, the next town over to go to the grocery store. Maybe they went somewhere. Like, I mean, it's just like, it was a normal day. So like people were like going in and out of the town, like normal, like how you normally do about your life. I mean, anyway. So during this time, Big Jim decides that he needs to up the police because he knows things might not go his way and get out of hand once he realizes that he's at risk of becoming outed, because we learned that our favorite town selectman, Big Jim Rennie, is actually running a underground meth lab in like the corner of the city where they have been taking propane from the city and they've been like bringing it over to their meth lab. With him and the first town selectman, Andy. So they've been doing this under, you know, wraps for years. I would like to, probably years. And they've been running this humongous drug empire. right out of their sweet little town. But because the power is like out, because there's no way to get to the old, like, you know, stuff, people are relying on generators. How do you do generators? You need propane. How do you get propane? Go to the town supply. Oh no, the town supply is not there. Why? Because they were using propane to generate a meth lab. Ooh, so he's like, man, I'm probably going to get caught. So he decides to ramp up the police because he's like, we need to have more people in law and order. So he starts assigning Junior and Junior's dumbass friends to basically be the new policemen. And that is absolutely wild to me because your son is a literal murderer and his friends are idiots. Mind you, they don't tell you this until a little later on. Mind you, Junior Rennie and his boys got into a physical altercation with Dale Barbara beforehand just because someone said like, oh, he's cute or something, and Junior didn't like it, so they beat Dale Barbara, and there was nothing caused of it, and then that's why he was like, I'm just going to leave town, like I don't need to be here. So now they're the cops, and he's like, that's great, I'm gonna get arrested for anything probably. So Barbie decides to team up with Julia because she's like, I want the biggest scoop, and he basically is like, something's going on, and they start talking to the government. And the president of the United States himself puts Barbie in charge and is like, hey, you were, you know, in the army, we know all about you, we know about everybody in this city, like we've done our research, like we know who's in, who's not. You're going to be in charge. Like we're putting you in like temporary like point of position. And that goes over so terribly because yes, he served in Iraq and like, you know, that he's still considered like an outsider of the town, and Big Jim Rennie does not like him. Big Jim Rennie does not want him to be in trouble and in charge. He wants to be in charge. So he basically is like, oh yeah, like this guy's a terrible guy, you know, bad talking about him. And then he's like, why would the government put you in charge? And basically Barbie's like, well, I did serve in Iraq and my job was to literally go and like disassemble bombs. Like whenever there was a bomb, I would hunt it down, find it, defuse it, and then we could like go in safely. I mean, pretty cool job. And Jim's like, I don't believe you. I think you're a liar. And they're like, whatever. The town is like really unhappy about this because Big Jim Rennie is like, this is such a bad thing. You don't want him in charge. And of course the town's like, you're so right. We don't want him in charge. They don't know what they want. They're barely surviving. Most of them are dead. So they don't get a say. So because Andy runs the town pharmacy, he stops giving people drugs, and then Big Jim Rennie calls like for a stop of no alcohol sales because he's like, I don't need people under the influence when we're going through this terrible thing together as a family, because this town is a family. Okay, sure it is, whatever. So then we like flash side. I know this is like so choppy and I apologize, but like this is actually how the book is written. The book is not written on one cohesive story. It is a story, jump. Story, jump. So it is not, like, I do apologize. I know this video probably looks so out of whack. I'm literally straightening my hair, jumping around the plot points of a book that is literally the size of my head, and it's all I can do. So I do apologize for that. But no, I do apologize. So we flash sideways and we see that there's a few kids around the town having random seizures and saying the same things. They keep saying stuff like, the pink stars are falling, the pink stars are falling. They also say, what else do they say? They say it's like, it's time, we have to get out, the pumpkin is coming, Halloween is canceled, like they need to stop the pumpkin. Like it's super, super weird things, right? Like stuff that you don't say. Especially you don't say if you're like having like an actual seizure. So nobody really knows what's going on and they kind of want to keep it under wraps. So like a couple of the times that it happens, like the parents and like nobody really reports this because they're like, oh, like we just don't want to say anything. We don't want to cause a struggle. Dude, if your kids out of nowhere start having seizures, if your kids after 15 years start having seizures and they're saying some weird stuff after a dome that just came down on the town, you might want to tell somebody. It might be important, but they don't because they're like, oh, we don't want to cause a scene, whatever. So basically this is when the government reaches back out to Barbie and is like, hey, just so you're well aware, you need to cooperate with us and you need to get the whole town on board with you being in charge. And Barbie's like, I can't do that. They're not listening to me. He's like, well, you need to, or we're going to cut off internet to everybody. And so he's like, okay, great. So he's trying to figure out what's going on. This is when he finds out that they're going to the government themselves are going to fire a missile at the dome in hopes of it like exploding. Now, do they think that it might kill everybody inside? Possibly. Is that a risk that they are willing to take? 100%. 100% a risk they want to take. I'm gonna pause right here real quick. So 1 second. Okay, we're back. Also look at the difference between just like one time with my hair and then like literally just like a brush through my hair. Okay. All right. This is when things start getting really, really weird, and things start getting really fast-paced from here. So, mind you, this book takes place in, like, a week or two. Like, this book is not, like, this 6-month drawn-out event. This is, like, literally within, like, I want to say maybe a month. Like, max. This is a very long book for, like, I think, like, I got to, like, here. Like, this all was, like, day one, basically. Like, this was all day one. If I had to take a guess. Chester's Mail, yeah. Okay. So, let's just go ahead and, let's just rapid fire this bitch. Okay. So Jim Rennie finds all the propane and now he's seen as a hero even though he's the one that took it for his meth lab. And when Barbie gets back, this is when Big Rennie gets mad about him running basically standpoint for the government, and he wants to make Barbie the #1 person. So Jim just starts framing him for murders around the city. Like, anyone who dies, he just blames Barbie. And then when the government calls and like, hey, what's going on? Like, he's like, oh, I'm not in charge. I'm just a selectman. I'm the second selectman. Like, I'm not even in charge. And the government's like, okay, well, like, you looks really good for you. Like, you know, like, everyone out here is doing really bad things and you're out here looking really, really good. So when this is all over, like, you're going to look like a hero. And he was like, I'm not a hero. I'm just a humble selectman. But also, like, you know, your guy is on, he's on trial for these murders because he killed a bunch of people. And one of those people he killed was Angie, because earlier Jim, like, found out that, like Junior had killed Angie and her friends, so he just threw that on top of Barbie's things too. And now I'm gonna break down what happens. It's like a humongous storyline, but like it's literally under like everything until we get there, and of course it flashes over right as like things start getting interesting in Barbie's life. Is so these kids that are all having seizures basically find a box with like another little dome over top of it, and they're like, what's this? Trying to figure out what it is, and they want to keep it hidden from everyone. And Julia comes up with a plan basically to like break Dale out of jail so they can figure out what to do next, because Dale's innocent and she knows that Dale's innocent because they've been together like almost every waking minute since the dome came down in the first place. So they're like, okay, what can we do? And then she's like, well, he's being held right now in the jail and he's going to be tried and charged with murder because Jim Rennie is having like this really big speech, and he's going to give he's going to address all the concerns that the town may have, and he's going to step into the light and basically take over things. And they're so happy, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe he's going to do this for us. He's not doing anything for them. He literally just wants power in the town, which is ridiculous, but whatever. So they're like, okay, cool. So then we switch back and forth between the speech that Big Jim is about to give and everybody else. So this is during the speech is the time that Junior Rennie decides he is sick and tired of Dale Barbara and he's going to go kill him in the jail. When his dad gives the speech, he's going to go to the jail where he's being held and murder Dale Barbara. And then the speech starts and we jump back and forth between Jim and his speech and then the people that are listening to the speech and like the 6 different points of views. Hold on, my boyfriend just woke up, so he's gonna be super loud. Okay, I was so right. Okay, anyway, so during the speech we have like literally 6 different POVs where everyone's like talking over each other about, you know, they're all trying to rescue Barbie except for Junior. Junior's like, I'm gonna kill him. So there's like a whole, you know, nobody really knows what's going on over in the town hall, and then the town hall don't know what's going on over in the jail. So Junior tries to kill him, and that totally backfires, and Junior ends up dying along with like a lot of other of the side characters, which makes me really sad. But Dale does get out, and they immediately are taken to where Julia's waiting, and she's like, you should go over and look at this like box thing with like the dome in it, like you should go over here and look at this. And he walks over and sees this box, and like all these kids are like hiding basically like an alien life form. Okay, so I knew this book was sci-fi, right? Like most of Stephen King's stuff is like horror, sci-fi, weird, you know. And I knew this. I literally watched the show, not till the very end, but I watched the show. So I'm like, okay, cool. But I have to also remind you, I am 900 pages in at this point, and there is like 100, 200 pages left. So I'm starting to lose interest. So basically okay. So the big ending, spoiling it 100%, is the oxygen in the dome starts to become really toxic because there's no way to get in and out. And so people are starting to like just drop left and right and basically die from like not being able to have any. So most of them are like, okay, like let's go to our bunkers, let's go somewhere that we can sit. And Big Jim goes to the bunker and he takes Carter with him. Now Carter was one of the guys that was like trying to help out in the police force, and Jim has treated Carter like the son he never had, even though he had a son. And Carter is like obsessed with Big Jim ever since Junior died. And so they get into this, like, he's always being praised by Big Jim. So Carter's like, oh my gosh, like this is the guy for me. Like I need to like be with him. And so they go in this bunker and they're chilling out in the bunker with all this propane, and they like have to like switch the tanks every couple hours. And Carter like is switching these tanks and realizes that they're running really low on oxygen. And he's like, okay, well, if I kill Rennie, then I can live longer and hopefully someone can come save me. Because if, with two of us, we're taking up twice as much oxygen, twice as much time. So he goes over, and before he gets the chance, Jim basically kills Carter. And then just chills in the cellar with this dead body of a teenager for like days. And he moves like, and like this is when we see like all of the characters are kind of held up in bunkers. And this is when Dale Barber gets the idea to remove the alien life form from the building as well. And he moves like the box and like takes the cover off of it or whatever, which removes the dome. And like it's really confusing. Like in all honesty, it's so confusing. The way that it was written, like basically like the dome ends up just like going, like he takes the dome off of the aliens, and then the dome over the city like also rises up and like just eventually like disappears, and like no one really knows what happened or why it was there in the first place, and like it's one of those things where you're like, yeah. And then that's basically the book. Yep. But Jim Rennie does die. He runs out of oxygen. But everyone else lives. But he dies. But everyone that's alive when they remove the top lives. That's it. So this was my like first like really big Stephen King that I've actually like read. I've read like Carrie, and I read Christine. There's another one I read. Oh, but this is the first one that I've actually like a big book. Like I have it on my shelf somewhere over there. I have it, and it's really big, but like this is also really big, and I'm very, very impressed I was able to read this. I did audiobook it as well. I would like read it at night, and during the day when I was like doing stuff, I would audiobook it, which I was really liked because I found it, you know, for free online, which is so great for me because I was like, oh my gosh, and I was really worried. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if I wasn't audiobooking it at the time, I probably would not have finished it, just because like there was so much going on in this book, and it was really hard to like keep tabs on. So when I would like listen to it on audiobook, and it would like, you know, kind of like help me like navigate what was going on, that was so much easier for me. because, you know, the issue is this could have been, like, this is a really good book. It really is. But it could have been, like, a 500-page book. It did not need to be 1,100 pages. But, like, we all know how Stephen King is. Like, Stephen King gets off on these, like, terribly long tangents about, like, the grass or something. And the next thing you know, you're like, okay, what was that about? And I feel like that's how a lot of the plot in this book went, was, like, it was like, yes, long tangent about something completely that was never talked about again. Or it was, like, tangents about things that, like, we kind of already knew, or tangents, like, repetitive tangents from, like, different characters finding out the same information. Like, it was just one of those things where you're like, okay, like, come on, man, like, how much more can you, like, actually do? But yeah, to be honest, I think this book, overall is a 4 out of 5. I think it's a really good book. Definitely if someone's like, do you have a really long book that you want me to read that's going to take me forever to get through? Heck yeah, I'm going to recommend it. But I'm going to say this. I am giving this book a 5 out of 5. Not for the book, but for myself. Because I deserve a little extra credit for how humongous this book is. I'm also, that's a half point. That's a 4.5. The other half point is going to go to this TV show. Under the Dome TV show, I have all 3 seasons on DVD. I've never watched the last season, but I have all 3 of them. And when I tell you this TV show was so overlooked, this was a good show. And it was overlooked by so many people. Nobody appreciated it, but I appreciated it. So I'm giving it a 0.5 on that. So that means that Stephen King's Under the Dome is a 5 out of 5. To be honest, the concept is so cool and so interesting. I mean, just that alone. But also the storytelling is really good. There's a lot of characters. Like, I got really upset, like, when some of the side characters, like, would die, I would get upset. So, like, I did get attached to the characters in this book. It's wild because in the TV show, Junior Rennie is my absolute favorite character, and in this book I wanted him dead more than life itself. I do not understand how, like, just like, I don't know, like, just seeing him in the TV show, I was like, it's so good, like, he's so good, because he makes you hate him, but I loved him for that. And then when I read this book, I was like, this guy sucks. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just finish this up. Basically, the show's really good. It has amazing characters, like, Rochelle Lefevre. She was in Twilight as, like, Rose with the red curly hair. She's in it as Julia Shumway. The guy that was in Breaking Bad, Dean Norris, he plays Big Jim Rennie. Mike Vogel, he was in so many things, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a couple other things, a lot of rom-com, basically. He plays the, like, lead of Dale Barbara. So basically, overall, very, very good show. Very, very good book. You can actually, I looked it up, you can actually watch the show on Paramount Plus if you have it, or YouTube with, like, a premium subscription or something like that. But that is, like, the best place to watch it. Oh, yeah, Mike Vogel was in The Help. Yeah, I don't know. And she's out of my league. Okay, but no, this book is really, really good. I highly suggest it to people if you want to read it. It's going to take you a while to get through. This took me, I want to say, like 8 days, I think, to get through. That's audiobooking and also reading it nonstop. I didn't have another book during the time I was reading this. I was just reading just this. But no, this is really, really good. This is a lot. Stephen King is a mastermind. I don't know if I'm going to jump into another Stephen King book just yet. I think I'm going to take a little off time and, you know, read some other things. But no, this is it. My hair is done. I am ready to go about my day. I say that as it is literally 8 p.m. at night. So thank you so much for watching. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but all my books I get a little stamp in them after I finish reading them. I'll bring it up really close for you right there. It's a little stamp that my friend got me. It says from the Library of Savannah. It says my little stamper thing. I also have like a gold foil part, but I don't need it for everything. But no, so after I put it on, also this is all on Goodreads as well, so make sure you go follow my Goodreads, so you can always see what I'm doing and what I'm reading up to date. This book is humongous and I cannot wait to put it on my shelf. It's going to be so satisfying. But thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps me out so much more than you could possibly think. And until next time, bye!